Hello and welcome to today's afternoon lesson with me, Richie. Welcome to AM Language. I hope you're all doing well, and it's a fine Thursday afternoon. Hopefully, where you are, not where I am. Where I am, it's a bit miserable, I think, today. But having said that, Sandra M. Guten Tag, and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. I hope you are doing well. So this week we have been on a bit of a roll with the different type of lessons we've been looking at. We looked at Monday was music English. Tuesday we looked at countable and uncountable nouns and plural s's. And yesterday we looked at some good linking words and comparatives. And today we're going to look at punctuation. Leondina says, hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Hello, Leondina. Buono pomeriggio. And welcome to today's lesson. Sandra says, how is the situation in your school? The situation in our school at the moment, AM Language, I think compared to what some other schools are experiencing, I think we're doing okay. People are still coming to Malta, not in their usual numbers, but the school is still seeing students, which is good. And on top of that, I think I'm happy to say I think we've done okay. Despite the difficulties of COVID, but now we're entering the Christmas period. And hopefully 2021, 2021, hopefully COVID will be tackled and we can begin to return to some form of normality. Any industry, any business, anything connected with travel is definitely seeing what we would call the word disruption. So hopefully 2021, hopefully tourism can begin to sort of return to some form of normality. But that does depend on a vaccine. So fingers crossed on that one. But thank you for asking, Sandra. But I'm happy to say we are okay. Debek says, hello, Richard. Hello, Debek. Welcome once again from Kazakhstan. I don't know how to say good afternoon or good evening in your language, so feel free to tell me, but please write it in English letters. Alida, good afternoon. Well, buenos dias from where you are in the world. Welcome to today's lesson and thank you for joining. Evelina, good afternoon as well. Buono pomeriggio. Irina F, privyet. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining the lesson again as well. I hope all of you are doing well. Guys, we are now up to 492 subscribers. We are really, really close to the first big landmark of 500. So if you are new, make sure you subscribe and like and share as well. As always, guys, please make sure that you follow the lesson in the live chat section. That's where the action happens. Debek says, okay, so good evening is Kalikesh. Kalikesh. So Kalikesh, Debek. Debek, yes. Kalikesh. I think I can say that. Well, I think I'm saying it right. 1 second. Oh, gosh. Oh, I thought, why does the screen look a bit sort of dirty? It's my glasses. So let's see. Well, that's much better. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that I said it correctly. Now, the thing about punctuation, first of all, is there are going to be differences from... Oh, thank you very much, Debek. There are differences between the way punctuation is used in English and the way it's going to be used in your language. So we need to remember that. But we first of all, we kind of need to know what the terminology is. So let's start off with this. Can anyone tell me what this is in English? Have a go. There's two possible answers because there's UK English and there's US English. But this is the first one. So let's see what you guys say. Okay. What I'm looking at is just this. Okay. The dot. What is the dot called in English? Let me know if you have any ideas. If not, I can always give you some suggestions as well. I could give you suggestions. Okay. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you some suggestions, yeah? And okay. So here are 4 suggestions. Only 2 are correct. Only 2 are correct. Alisa says she doesn't understand. I'm talking about the dot at the end of the sentence. So if I write, he saw John go to school, it's the punctuation at the very end. Okay, so Alida says full stop. De Burke agrees, full stop. Well, you guys, you are correct. Full stop is UK English. Now, can anyone guess what the US English word is? Full stop is the English word for it, the British English. English. Can any of you try and guess what the US word is? To be honest with you, I do prefer, on every single one, I prefer British English on this one when it comes to punctuation. And I think it's on absolutely everything. Now, it might be because I am English, but I think it makes more sense. I think British English makes more sense. Alida's gone with period. Yes, believe it or not. So a full stop is UK English, and a period, it just sounds bad. I don't think it has the same. I don't think it says. I don't think it describes it as well as full stop. But period is a US English. Personally, I prefer full stop. I don't. I don't go for the American terminology. Okay, I'm from England, so maybe that's why. But to me, it just doesn't have. I don't think it describes the punctuation as well. So let's look at the next one. Your options are, again, we're going to, there's a difference between UK and US English. I'm just going to share. Even when they are talking and they want to finish the conversation, they say period. That's true, actually. They do say that sometimes. I think it's part. I think it's obviously a cultural thing. I think there. As always, I'm going to give you 4 options. 2 are correct, 2 are wrong. Yes, Sandra, that is exactly what we are looking at. We are looking at that particular type of punctuation. So your options are an exclamation mark, uh, a parenthesis or parentheses, an exclamation point, brackets. Alida's gone for exclamation point. Feel free to tell me what you think it is, and tell me if you think if it's the US or UK English. Okay, so Alida's come out with Exclamation mark. Sandra's come out with the exclamation mark. Okay, guys, excellent. Well done. I think this one is going to be quite easy, so I won't spend too long on it. Exclamation mark. Very well done. That's going to be UK English. If you were to say exclamation point, that would be US English. Again, I prefer exclamation mark, but I've always used exclamation mark. Um, I'm not. I'm not keen on saying exclamation point, although I can see why. I mean, it's got a point underneath, so maybe I don't know. Maybe that one is. I don't think that's all that bad. Okay, next, we've got these things. So let's see what you guys think these are called. Okay, I'm going to give you again 4 options, so you guys can tell me what you think. Okay, and if you do come up with an answer like a leader, let me know if you what you think you're using. If it's UK English or US English, let me know. So those are your 4 options. You've got square brackets, brackets. Oh, right, I've put brackets. Yeah, brackets, bracket, or parentheses. I've put brackets twice. Okay, parentheses. Okay, so some of you are coming out with both answers. Okay, can you tell me which one you think is UK English and which one you think is US English? Which one is UK English and which one is US English? Um, which one do you think? Which one's UK? Which one's US? You've got either brackets or parenthesis. Uh, those are the 2 answers you guys have given, and you are correct. They can be called brackets or they can be called parenthesis. A leader's come in with brackets are UK, brackets UK, brackets UK. Yeah, guys, you are correct. Brackets is UK. The other one is US. Again, personally, my personal preference, which again isn't surprising, I'm British, is that I prefer UK English on this one. I have always seen them as brackets. Now, let's look at the next one, the next lot. Kind of similar, but just a little bit different. What do you guys think? I'm only going to give you 3 for this one. 2 are potentially correct. What do you guys think? Do we call them square brackets, brackets, or colon? Square brackets, says Leondina. Okay, maybe it's the same in your country. Maybe it's a direct translation. So maybe you've got a very similar sort of, or the identical words, but in your own language. Okay, square brackets. Yes, square brackets, guys. This is going to be UK English. Which is, again, I think when we look at this compared to US English, here you can see the possibility of confusion. If people don't know if someone is using UK or US English. That is why I would say the first thing, one of the most important things when you are developing your English is, and it's good to decide early on, if you want to try and develop your English in the style of UK English or US English. It does make a difference. It makes a difference when it comes to terminology, such as this. It makes a difference when it comes to pronunciation, spelling, and when you have a bit of both, things can get a bit confusing sometimes. Now, today, it's very common for people to have both a mixture of American and British English. Um, but I would say I would always encourage try and think of which style you want to develop and go for it. I should add, you um, just because you might find American English pronunciation to be easier, that doesn't mean you have to make sure that your writing is American English. You could have British English in terms of your writing style, but speak more with an American pronunciation. That is fine. What I would say is consistency when it comes to writing. Choose earlier on. It does help, it does make a difference, and I would encourage that. Okay, so now that we've had a little look at that, let's have a little think about how to oh yes, that's a point. I just want to make sure that we also understand. I nearly forgot this one. um, does anyone know what these are? Any ideas what those are called? I'm going to give you some options. Actually, I'm just going to give you two options. Abbreviations is one option, and question marks is the other option. Sandra's already come in with question marks, so I'm guessing that she. Well, do you agree with Sandra? Do you guys agree with Sandra? No idea, says Alida, and Leondina says quotation mark. Well, guys, I can tell you the answer here is quotation marks. So that is what those are called, quotation marks. Now, I'm going to start actually off with quotation marks. Quotation marks, obviously, is when you are quoting someone. This might happen when you're using something like reported speech. So we have to be quite careful. We need to make sure that we use it properly. So I'm just going to give you an example, a simple example, and then we'll go from there. Um, Actually, there's a few things we can look at eventually down the line, but I'm just going to start off with this as an example. So in English, what you'll do is you would write your the quote that you're quoting, and you'd put a comma, and then she said. Okay, notice the comma comes before the end of the quotation in this case. So you can write it in a different way. You could say, she said, don't stop, for example. So whenever you're going to do an actual quote, you need to make sure that you have a comma appropriately placed, and you've got to make sure that the quotation marks are there. But if typically speaking, something like this, if you're going to start off with she said, then you're going to go with a comma and you're going to do quotation marks. Okay, so let's see if you guys can put the quotation marks and the comma in the correct place. Let's start off easy, actually. Okay, guys, so have a go. Here's your sentence here. John said the car won't start in the cold, but we want to try and make this as a quotation mark. So you guys have to think of, okay, where do the quotation marks go? Where does the comma go in order to make this sentence possible? So have a go. Look at the previous one. It says she said, comma, don't stop. So have a little look, see if you can do it for this one over here. I think the most important ones I'm going to look at is today definitely quotation marks, because I know some people like to try and put in quotes. We can have a little look at when to use brackets, because I've seen sometimes people like to put brackets. John said, yes, debug. That makes sense. I see what you're going for. Okay, so let's see if other people agree with you, debug. Debec, sorry, I should say probably. So let's see if other people agree with you, and then we'll move on to the next one. I'm working, because I know I've looked at commas before, but I'm going to move on to brackets after this because some people do get confused between brackets and commas. Leondine says the car won't start in the cold, he said. Okay, yeah, that would work as well. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. So we know how to use that. That's what I wanted to make sure. Okay, good. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is to do with brackets. And I'm going to give you an example because there are two ways of looking at this. And it helps if we decide early on how we're going to do it, because it's going to make a difference. And sometimes these rules can be a little bit, especially with the brackets I've seen. So I think this would probably be a good sentence to go with as an example. So, brackets. You can see here we have John and Jane, who are actually half brother and sister, both have red hair. There you can see that the brackets have been used. The brackets have been used to give extra information. Now, what's the alternative? Well, there is an alternative to this, because you could easily break it up with commas as well. So both, you can say both are the same thing. What I would say is most of the time go for commas. I wouldn't encourage you to go for brackets too often. If you go with too many, it's not common in English. Yes, Alida, you could also use a comma. You can actually create what we call here a dependent clause, because we've separated the middle bit. But that's how you would use brackets. You use it to give extra information of some kind, and most of the time you can probably just put two commas. But let's see if you guys can do this in this next task. Okay, so we're looking at brackets and commas. So I would like I would like you guys to give me examples. Okay, so I'm going to write the following. Okay, guys, just let me know where you're going to break this up. Again, you can use brackets, but most of the time, I would say commas probably make a little bit more sense. But let's see where you guys would break the sentence up? Where would you put the brackets, or where would you put the commas? That's a really important thing, because here we've got some extra information. We have Jane and Sue, who were the managers, did not know about the problem. Sandra's put Jane and Sue, comma, who were the managers, comma, did not know about the problem. De Burke, I think, is saying that that Sandra is correct. Am I right in saying that, De Burke? Let me know. Okay, what I like about this here, Sandra, is that you've gone for the comma, the two commas on either side, which is my general preference. But you could potentially use brackets as well. Now, I do want to bring in an element from yesterday, but I'm just going to finish off with one more example, okay? And that is I'm going to introduce this type. Okay, so what am I going to go with? I'm going to go with this one. Yes, you agree. Excellent. Okay, I've chosen one that's a little bit too difficult for me. Let's go with so I just want to show you how you can use brackets in another way. And that is when you want to try and just summarize, and this is when you are more likely to use brackets. This is when you want to just quickly explain what a technical term is. And that is, for instance, if you're using abbreviation for the first time and you just want to explain what that means. So the system ECE, electric current engine, and you've got that in brackets, have not commented. Actually, let me just write that again, because I notice I put something in there. And it didn't quite make sense. Yeah, so I've changed it to the company ECE have not commented on the issue. So this is another way that you can do it. You would most of the time use brackets to put in extra information, but especially when you have to explain what an abbreviation is. And that in English is probably the more common way that you can see it. So we're now going to try and bring in, could you explain the difference between acute? Let me see if I can read that properly. Acuta, acute A. Let me see if I can understand what you're saying. Acute A, and gave an accent. Can you give me an example in a sentence, Sandra? Can you give me an example in a sentence? That will probably help quite a lot in order to know. Guys, one last thing, and before we go into our actual final activity, and it's just to do with with S, the plural S side of things. So, for instance, quite simple, guys. What's the difference between these two? This is a grave accent, says Sandra. I'm going to have to see it in a sentence because I'm not fully understanding. Sorry, that doesn't make sense. I don't fully understand, Sandra. I'll have to see. Could you give me an example of a sentence where it's used? Because in English, we don't have accents. We have apostrophe, such as in this case, the student's essay. But accents, no, we don't have anything like an accent in English. We're not going to use them. So what I would say is, if you can give me an actual example of it, that would be very helpful. But yeah, we don't have an accent in English. However, we do have this problem. The student's essay was late. The students' essays were late. Can anyone tell me what the difference is between 1 and 2? And the way to think about this is, okay, so Alida says 1 is only 1 student. Okay, yeah, and that's it. So in the first one here, 2 is more students. Excellent. So when you say students, this equals 1. But it's personal, like Don's wallet, for example. So it belongs. In the second one, when we have students, this equals plural. So more than 1, but it's still a possession, such as people's homes, for example. Bit of a strange sentence, that. Okay, good. Well done, guys. So I'm now going to write a sentence. I'm going to include some things that we've looked at this past week, as well as some of the things that we've looked at today. So let's see how you guys get on. I am going to put an abbreviation in, but I'm going to tell you what the abbreviation is. Okay, it's not a real thing, but nonetheless. Okay. If you see me write CC, it means cut cars. Leondina responding to Sandra. Leondina sends responding to Sandra. Acute and grave accents are in French language. Yeah, they're going to be in the French language, definitely, because of the accents, but not in English. We don't have anything like that. So this is what's going to happen, guys. I am now going to write sentences, some sentences here. You guys need to complete the. You need to try and put the pronunciation. What am I talking about? The punctuation. I nearly said pronunciation. You need to put the punctuation in the correct spot. So if I wrote something like, whilst the CC was to take this sentence here, just as an example, if you see a sentence like, whilst the CC cut cars was going bankrupt, their competition did well. What you would then do is you would need to put the punctuation in that would make that sentence work. So your punctuation would then look something like this. Okay. So I want to bring in some elements from last week. So you would then rewrite the sentence, putting the brackets there and the comma there. Okay. So that's going to be the task. Let's see how you guys get on. So quite a difficult one here. Let's see how you guys go. So you've got, although the CC cut cars, let me just post that again because I that needs to be a capital one in that cut cars. Okay, that's going to read better now. So although the CC cut cars struggled with John, who was the CEO of the company, they managed to save themselves. So you've got the start, you've only got the full stop there. So you guys now need to come in and you need to put the commas where they need to be, and you need to put the brackets where they need to be. So you are looking at commas and brackets. That's what you need to look at over here. You need to think, is there extra information? And if there is exclamation, where does the exclamation start? Where does the extra information finish? And that will tell us a lot. So you do need to think about your commas and brackets for this one. So to complete this, you need to think about commas and brackets. Don't forget, if you want to try and, if you think something is just explaining what the abbreviation is, then you need brackets. If you're breaking up the sentence because there's extra information there, then you're going to have to put commas somewhere. So let's see what you guys go with for this one. It's reasonably okay. It's reasonably okay. This isn't super easy, but it's not going to be super difficult based on what we have done, as well as this past week. And then we'll go on for one more because there's a particular one that we haven't said, we haven't looked at it again yet. We started off with it, but I want to make sure that we finished it as well. Okay, we finished with it, sorry. So, although the CC cut cast struggled with John, who was the CEO of the company, they managed to save themselves. Right, so where do you think commas go here, and where do you think the brackets go? You can copy and then paste and then just put where you think the punctuation goes. I mean, the thing about punctuation is that it's not, it's quite technical, really. So Leondina says, although the CC brackets cut cars struggles with John, comma, who was the CEO of the company, comma, they managed to save themselves. Well, guys, if you agree with Leondina, then let me know. What I would say is just make sure you don't change change any verbs because the verbs are what they're meant to be in this context. Make sure you keep struggled in the past, not in the present. But if you think, yeah, Leondina, that's correct. So if you agree, okay, so Evelina agrees with Leondina. Let's see. So De Burke has put, although the CC brackets cut cars, struggled with John, comma. Okay, De Burke, you don't need to put comma and brackets. You could it's one or the other. So where you get to that bit, I would say go with what Leondina's written. So it should look like this. You don't need to go for commas and brackets. It's either commas or brackets. After CEO. Yeah, the commas would have to go after. But yes, that's how it would look. That's what it would look like. So guys, well done. That's good. That's how we would write this one. So the answer Leondina put is correct. And De Beck has got quite a lot of this right, and so has Evelina. Let's look at one last one. The two sentences here. And I already put in some commas, which was silly of me. Right, let's go again. I want to do that. Okay, let's have a go at this. So the police were interviewing Toby, who was at the scene of the crime, and he said he didn't see anything. He told a reporter, there was a loud bang, but I saw nothing. So here you need to think about the pronunciation, sorry, the punctuation across two sentences. You're going to need to think of quotation marks, but I only want you to use them once. I don't want you to use them twice, just quotation marks once. And you need to think of commas as well, and whether you end with a full stop or exclamation mark. Okay, so those are the things that you need to think about in order to get this one correct. The police were interviewing Toby, who was at the scene of the crime, and he said he didn't see anything. He told a reporter, there was a loud bang, but I saw nothing. So think really carefully. You can only use the quotation marks once. You cannot use them twice. So think about whether it's the first sentence or the second sentence where you would need to put the quotation marks. You need to think about your commas. Again, over here is the extra information. And you need to think if you're going to end with a full stop or exclamation mark. So let's see what you guys put. What do you guys think? You don't need to use brackets. I haven't put them down as an option, so don't use brackets. It's either you need to think of question marks, commas, full stop or an exclamation mark at the end. Potentially you could use both, but an exclamation mark would kind of mean something else, probably a bit stronger. So do think about that. Let's see what you guys put. And then that will bring us to the end of the lesson, in today's lesson. Actually, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow ties in with what we've been doing all week, because tomorrow is going to be, we're going to try and fit different elements together, but I want to try and make it a fun lesson. The thing about accuracy is that accuracy is really important, but we need to make it fun. So tomorrow, hopefully, we can have a fun lesson where we get to practice lots of things that we have done, to make sure that we can actually do them correctly. So tomorrow we will probably drill some things that we've looked at, in the past, probably over the past 2 weeks or something, actually. So there's lots of things for everybody. If you guys are struggling, feel free to break it up into 2 sentences, and you can tell me. You don't need to retype. You can just copy and then paste it into the live chat. That is the quicker way to do it, without question. So Debeck says Toby, comma, who was, comma, good, and he told reporters, and okay, wow, exclamation mark. Let's see if Leondina has written the same thing. The police were interviewing Toby, comma, who was at the scene of the crime, and he said he didn't see anything. He told a reporter, comma, there was a loud bang, but I saw nothing. Okay. Have you guys said the same thing? I think you guys have said pretty much the same thing. What I would say is, who was at the scene of the crime, comma, Leondina. I think yeah, there after crime you can put a comma, but then that would be correct. I'll just show you. I'll post the full answer over here so you guys can see. But very well done. I think between you and between Leondina and Debeck, I think between the two of you, you got just about everything right. Have a look at the final answer over here, that I'm just going to put. Very well done, though. I'm very pleased with your answers. I think between the two of you, you probably got all of the answers correct. So very well done. So you've got the police were interviewing Toby, comma, who was at the scene of the crime, comma, and he said he didn't see anything, full stop. He told a reporter, comma, question mark, sorry, not question mark, quotation mark. Did I put quotation marks? Oh, phew, I put quotation marks, yes. No, quotation mark. There was a loud bang, but I saw nothing. End of quotation marks. And before the end of the quotation marks, we have the exclamation mark. So, really well done there, guys. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Leondina, Debeck, Evelina, Alida, Leondina, Sandra, Irina F, for joining in the live chat today. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for all of your participation. Have a lovely weekend. Oh, let's see. Leondina says this is an L1 interference because in Italian we don't use the comma with and. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of L1 interference when it comes to this sort of thing. I would say with Italian, definitely. I have seen in the past that Italian students can sometimes struggle with this. Evelina, thank you very much, and see you, all of you, hopefully tomorrow with another AM language lesson. Thank you very much. This week, I would say things have I mean, today was probably the hardest lesson that we've looked at this week. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I think was good for both high and low levels. This is very much sort of middle now. This is kind of like intermediate sort of stuff. But depending on how complex the sentence is, can sometimes be intermediate to upper intermediate, and then sometimes intermediate to lower. Thanks, Richard, says Arena F. You're welcome. Alid says, thanks, Richard. It's hard for me to participate at the time. Remember, I'm cooking. Alida, thank you very much. And I hope you have a lovely lunch as well. So thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Take care. Debek says goodbye. Thanks a lot, as always, Richard. You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care, everyone. Make sure, if you're new, subscribe, like, and yeah, share the video. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.